Hello and welcome to Apex Racing TV and the iGPFun Formula 3 VRS Championship. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Marco Barbner, who's also doing the tricky job as well of bringing you these lovely images of this circuit for the penultimate round of this series at Road Atlanta. Marco, I've really come to appreciate this circuit in the last couple of months. I've driven it in, Porsche Cup cars recently, Radicals as well, and across GT cars as well. These F3 cars, I think, are just as good as any of those cars because this place, whatever you drive, it's a roller coaster. It's fantastic for racing, and we should see a really open race tonight.
We really should do. Hello everyone, hello Sam, and big shout out to Austin Knight, who's unfortunately, he has the very tough task of being at the Indy 500 today, so he cannot join us. So it's very nice to have you, Sam, filling in for him. And yes, I love this racetrack, I love this championship. I think it's a perfect combination. It's going to be a lot of very, very close racing, and you are right, roller coaster, especially the final corner and the first part of the racetrack. All the S's, the elevation changes, tough corners, tricky to have a good braking zone, good braking markers, good braking, and difficult to pass. And then the track, after, if you survive turn 5, which is a big if, as we all know, especially in these little cars that don't like being upset that much. Then you have the two right-handers, and then the long backstretch, and the great passing spot of the final chicane. So absolutely a fantastic place. Not by accident one of the most famous racetracks in the world of sports car racing. So I think we're going to have fantastic fun, and as per usual in the iGPFun Championship, we are at the back end of qualifying, and cue Thiago Marteau, who's of course the fanatics of this championship, and Sam, I know, of course, people that follow or organize the Apex SDK Academy F3 series know very, very well. He's sitting in pole in front of Sauer Weber, Gavin Petty, Przemysław Pieniążek, and Francesco Meola. And the rising star of this championship, Leonard Cherry from Sweden, he's been absolutely on a meteoric rise. The only thing that's missing, I think, is a victory. And who knows, maybe in this final couple of rounds of the season, he's going to get it. Now, Sam, up until last season, I used to sponsor a car. I don't sponsor it anymore. The sponsorship got dropped by the driver, which it would be missing him for the final past few races. But now Austin has a car that he sponsors, and I will show it to you when the time comes.
Awesome. I look forward to it. And by the way, to Austin, usually there's a little bit of a jinx in the 3.5 series that whenever he's away, there tends to be a very good race. I'm hoping that will be the case for this one. We did have a terrific race, by the way, in the Formula 3.5 Championship last night. That curse looking to continue this weekend, perhaps. Marteau on pole position then for tonight's event. Then it is Samuel Hermer, Gavin Petty, Pierre Nazek. Apologies, I'm going through these names for the first time. Marco has made me to apologies. I won't be able to go the same level as Austin, but we'll try to get there. Francesco Miola lines up in 5th place. And it's Leonard Cherry, Zoltan Zomata, Luciano Zania, Lucas Maruk, Philip Lucas, Andrew McKendry, Vincenzo Moroni. Behind that, it's Johan Bergerson, Will McIntyre, Dave Martin, Sonny Rosario, Luciano Lorenco, Andy Flint, Antonio Jimenez, Andrea Bacchini, Christian Glamsetta, Adam Tolsma, Daniel Justo, Max Mueller, Mark Mattis, and Angelo Velos in 26th. That's Patrick Rowlands, Fernando Nunes, and in fact, already the lights are coming on, so I won't be able to go through in the entire grid, but we have got 38 cars for tonight's meeting. as we are away launching at Road Atlanta. Marteau from the pole position. It's a fairly even start from the two drivers on the front row of the grid, but Marteau should have the upper hand heading into turn 1 for the first time. Petty just dropping back a little bit in third position. Not many changes so far up in the top 10 as the top 3 start to scamper away as Miola goes for an ambitious move for P4 and he manages to make it stick as well. Only a few changes further down the order. 3 places gained is the highest gainer so far in this race. These top 3 really threatening to go away as we've got a big crash further back. Caught well by Marco Valbonere. And that was caught in the barrier there for Rosario. Started around 20th position there. And he's collided with Bigerson. So that is a couple of drivers up in that top 20 who have had problems earlier.
Turn 5 strikes immediately as Ermer looks for a move on Marteau on the outside, and he completes the pass well before the braking area. So we have a new leader. It's Samuel Ermer. So QT Marteau, then Gavi Petty, then Morrone and Zomotor are going at it. Italian driver making it stick, and a lot of other overtakes as the first lap is in the books. And I have to say, I'm afraid that was a massive crash, because there was one car upside down in the wall of turn 5, so you can crash there, but upside down is a bit difficult. So let's see.
So there was already an aggressive move, and then kind of just went in a bit aggressive there, did Rosario, a bit late on the brakes. At the end of the S's, you can kind of take quite a different racing line, take the curb on the inside, take the curb on the outside, brake early. Maybe run it in a little bit deeper. And of course, when the cold tyres come into play, you really do have different entry speeds. But yeah, that's a shame for those two drivers. Fortunately, didn't collide any other drivers. Veloz just dropping a few places at the moment. But Hermer in the lead of this race after losing the lead in the early stages. You can see how skinny that rear wing is on the leader's Hermer's car, needing to be quick down this back straight. It's a bit of a half move there for Marteau. Those top 2 really not holding back on the moves in these early stages. As we look further back, Lorenzo with a huge queue. You can see the gap up ahead of these drivers. Almost 2 different races going on at the moment. 3.5 seconds between those drivers. And also Pierre Nazek up the inside, little bit of contact. And that was Cherry able to move through. So Cherry now up 1 place and Pierre Nezek down 2 places.
2 drivers, as you can see on the left side, pulling away, as Sam was saying to the rest of the field, but this is where the fight is, and everyone is going wide there in turn 5, including Lucas and Zanier. And now we have an attack on the inside from Lucas. As really, I mean, usually we bring them up in midway through, but this is such a short lap. You will see the dancing dots of doom, as Austin calls them. We have 38 cars, well 37 because there are, no, 36, there are a couple of them in the pits of course. But look at that, the battle continues here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pierre Nazek right now. He is dropping like a stone. It's down to 9th. This is the guy who was in 4th position. Oh, has he got damage? He is painfully slow right now.
Yeah,
and you know what, he is bringing into the pits. So either, I don't think that's damage because I haven't seen him collide with anything. Oh. And that, everything about that car looks fine. So it's maybe something going on in the real world which has caught his attention. That might be the end of his day. Shame, of course, starting on the 2nd row of the grid. Talsma has just got ahead of Teles, I believe. Yeah, I don't think that move's particularly decisive. These guys have got a good shout. Austin is better, I'm seeing on the back of that. I'm a little bit offended by that already. I'm not sure if that's directed towards myself. Of course, Austin Knight's the normal commentator for this series. I'm filling his shoes tonight. But what does that mean? Austin is better.
Because the old car that I was sponsoring last season said Marco Barbanera, Director Extraordinaire. Not by my request, by the way. It was just the idea of the driver. which is, by the way, Luca Varani, series organizer. He has missed the last 3 races, so hopefully everything is okay and we have him back very soon. And so apparently this other driver that now Austin is sponsoring doesn't agree with the organizer that Marco is a director extraordinaire. And so apparently Austin is better, but no. Unlike Austin, I never skip around.
Unlike Austin, you're not located in America and within distance of being able to go to the Indy 500. Yeah. Hope to see Austin back next week. Here comes Pacetti. Oh, this is a cool angle. So watch it from. At least I got a cool angle. I hope everyone watching the stream has got a cool angle as well. Shoulder cam.
Cameras, so
awesome. Well, yeah, it's a pretty good idea of the elevation change around this circuit, and then just got to really slow it down for that very awkward right-hander. It's almost a hairpin, it's so tight, and it's a little bit off camera I think as well, as we have a change for the lead. But quite easily getting past Herman there, cutting the inside of the chicane, something that I absolutely struggle with. I struggle with this circuit a lot, if anyone else can guess. But to not pick up a slowdown at that chicane because there's such little deterrent, it's really tricky just to judge that right. As Herma is moving back past Martos, apologies, managing to stay ahead. And yeah, this one's going to continue forever. And Petty is catching up to these guys a bit.
See the time comparison. I would imagine. Let's see the sectors, because of course now they are battling really hard. But there's fights all over the field. But these top 2 drivers have been the class of the field this season, trading victories. But I mean, iGPFun is famous because there are fights everywhere you look. Look at this fight here for 11th and backwards with McHenry, Martin, McIntyre, Lorenzo, etc. But of course, every time they go to the backstretch, there is an attack for the lead, as it should be. And Hermer puts his car back in front. Still trying to think what is. It looks like the base of a tree with some moss growing on it. This livery of Samuel Hermer, or a, yeah, or a discount on the Earth car version. I still have to think which one is better. I think the tree with the moss is more romantic, but in the meantime, Marteau says, you know what? I'll go back to the lead once again.
Mistake from Hermer there. He's dropped back quite significantly. Ooh, I think that may have been a slowdown in fact. Ooh, that's not how 2 cars are meant to be. It was Ito and Dennis, I believe, who towed back to the pits at the same time. This was a battle for about 30th place. And Dennis was up the inside, took a super tight line and lost the rear of the car. Why did he lose the rear of the car there, Marco?
I don't see him hitting the grass, so I think he just locked the brakes at the back. Very unfortunate crash. Look at Gavin Petty, who has basically the same livery as Hermer, but darker color.
And they're working together because there's no attempted move there, as he knows that his best chance of winning this race is to drag up to Marteau in the lead by following Petty. So we'll see if that works out for him. Martin just pulling away from this pack now. Still one of the closest battles we have out on circuit. But Chetty looks particularly likely to get past Lorenzo right now. Lorenzo just dropping a couple of places, I believe. I think he was at the head of this chain, was Lorenzo at one point. But now down to kind of 4th in the pecking order. And Pacetti wasn't able to get past, then loses a bit of time. Of course, these F3 cars just have so much downforce that you can actually pick up the draft through the S. It's absolutely awesome. That entire S section, you've only hit the brakes like twice. And even then, the second one in particular, not too strong. It really does turn this place into a fantastic place to overtake. We don't have to worry about the turbulent air too much. As here comes Lucas. He is on the back of Cherry, and now he is ahead of Cherry. Being able to drop the others behind, so clearly got good pace of these couple of drivers. Miola's only a couple of seconds up the road as well. Morone, meanwhile, as we passed Zania into 7th place, but I don't think this one's over yet.
Italian overtake there. Let's bring those flags up. Marco, you can do it.
Zania back past, by the way. There you go. Great to see. I always like a colourful timing tower. That is a colourful timing tower. Lots of nations represented.
This is my favorite livery. Will McIntyre, half Austrian, half British. That's well represented in his car. One side it's Austrian, and oh, don't want to jinx him. And on the other side should be the Union Jack. There it is. Beautiful livery.
I'm impressed. That does look good. I'm trying to think what's the cross of Austrian and British? What's the perfect combo? I can't think of a combo, I must say, but I'm sure there is one. Here is well, this battle's just continuing then. Oh! Up into the air. And Zamota's gonna need to get repairs for that one, I think. And look at Moroni, he's gone into the alternative pit. Yeah. And he can race down there as fast as he likes. He doesn't have to use the pit lane limiter. That was a huge crash right there. We've seen our fair share in the early stages of this race. Meanwhile, McIntyre up ahead of McKendry now. Also, Lorenzo still holding back Richetti. There is Moroni with damage, we suspect. But, well, I'm surprised he's able to get that car back because this was a spectacular crash, Mark.
Yes, I mean, we just changed the camera to look at the rear wing of the car in front. So we didn't really see what happened. Oh, wow. Oh, that's a massive hang time for Morone.
I'm impressed by the iRacing physics there because it looked a little bit like the crash came, or that elevation came, because his front tyre hit the rear tyre of the car ahead and obviously kind of drive up the opponent. Do you think iRacing would think about that? I thought it'd just be like, oh, look, one object hits another object and normal, but that was very good. Good work, iRacing on that one. Or maybe it was just a coincidence and not making up stuff. But I thought it looked good. Moroni then, he's got to come into the pits. He's been very slow on this lap. And yeah, taking the inside line. Then going to the tricky pit entry here at Road Atlanta. And that'll be his competitive race over.
We lost Luciano Zanier, who was in 7th. And now Lorenzo, careful when you rejoin there. A bit of a passenger every time you go off there. So what happened to Zanieri? He was having a fantastic race in the top 10, knocking on the top 5. He's all along the way, Italy driver. Oh,
yeah, he done really well to. He done a brilliant job to drop the other drivers, and then yeah, as you say, massive curb strike. I mean, that was hugely over the curb. I guess the car just gripped up when he didn't expect it to.
You know, it's so difficult because you know, when you brake there, you know it better than me, being a very good driver. We'll see now from Marteau, even though we are slightly elevated. When you brake, you have no idea where the curb is. I mean, even from up high, like here, no? So if you turn in slightly earlier, you're going to get it with all your front wing and all your underside, just like happened there. And I tell you what, I have done it so many times. As Lorenzo is off again. And he is going very slowly, and I think he's going to either park it or cut across the track. He's parking it, so race over for him, unfortunately. Drivers have one fast repair, but of course, in a field this tight, in a race that's longer than the officials, but still very much a sprint race. You know, I love when we have the 2 races format in ARA on Saturday, because then we have the long race here on Sunday. It's like, looks like a real life F3 or F2 weekend.
You're right. And of course, when Marteau is at the top of all of them,
yes.
there is some continuity, isn't there? He's had a tough time actually as Marto recently in that, so he's not due to it, not his fault on the most part, but still fighting for that Saturday night championship. As McKendry's just got back past McIntyre, so these two seem to be very evenly matched. See on their last lap, well in fact actually McIntyre must have made a mistake on that last lap, because remember he got past McKendry and now has fallen, dropped a second to him on that last lap. Just behind them, Mueller is up 11 places, which is many places gained. The highest gainer so far is Bill Waller. He's up 15 places. Great work from him. To be up into 13th, 4 seconds behind the drivers we're currently watching. As Lorenzo, yeah, did get back onto the track. Some good resilience shown by some of the drivers. You may have noticed Rosario, of course, had that huge crash earlier on in the race on that one. He got out straight away again. He's actually doing decently as Rosario. He is a lap down, lap and a half down, but he's in 29th place out of 38 starters. So it is worth staying in when you can, as Kendry having to pull out all the stops to keep McIntyre behind.
Here comes Brachetti in the back of the shot. Well, not really in the back of the shot. Very much in the shot, and now on board with him. Taking a piece of the pie, and Andy Flint behind him, I think, if we look back. Yeah, there it is. Look at the... I never noticed until today. Roadrunner there on the right side of the... or as we call him in Italian, and I kid you not, we just call him Beep Beep.
Beep Beep?
Yes.
Wow. Is that the noise that he makes?
Yes.
Ah, okay. It's a little bit before my time. But, yeah. Do you think it makes him go faster?
Maybe. I mean, we had a driver that's not racing anymore in the championship. He races every once in a while, not tonight. That he used to have on his side pod in the series a turtle with a couple of rockets strapped on top of the shell. Also a very nice livery.
On Friday, as it might be for Vincenzi here, he finally was able to get past one of the drivers that he was stuck behind for a while, and now he's a bit free. He's up into 10th place. Yeah, on Friday we had the Radical Racing Challenge, and in that series we had a driver who had Nicolas Cage on their livery, and I'm not just talking about a little face of him, all over the car. As I say, they just copied and pasted it on, and it was wrapped around the car, so didn't have a very good race, surprisingly. Hamad, I think, was just overtaken by Nizek, the Polish driver, and so he's up into 19th. Of course, has already had to make a pit stop as Nizek after a collision earlier on. And mode is now very slow. I don't know how he would have picked up a slowdown there on that part of the track, but maybe giving back a position due to doing something wrong earlier on. I don't know.
I know. I showed him because the nice folks in the chat, there is a bit of a fan club there in the chat for him. And of course, the moment I show him, he loses a position. But you know, hopefully I made the fan club happy. Thank you guys for watching, by the way. And if you like what you're seeing right now, even if you don't like it, doesn't matter, because we kindly invite you to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our live streams. There's basically more than one every day here on Apex TV at all times of day. So even in the North American evening, we are there as well. And of course, if you want, you can also follow us on twitch.tv/ApexRacingTV, where maybe it's even better than YouTube, because the live timing that we provide at the top of the chat here it's, Twitch is famous for its lower latency compared to YouTube. So basically, it's like following the stream in real time. So yeah, go and give us a follow and tell that Marco sent you, of course.
Yeah. We've had some issues as well with YouTube as well in the past week as well, so Twitch is always a very good backup to go check it out, and of course vice versa. McIntyre was able to get back past Bichetti there. They are losing touch with McKendry though. What times is McKendry doing? 14.4. It's not that quick. Still 0.8 of a second slower than the leaders. He's really putting away quick. So we run aboard with our favourite driver in this series, Hashem Hamad. But of course, anyone else who's watching along, do let us know who you're supporting. Might give them a little bit of extra screen time. And the gap between these two is 0.2 of a second. So of course, Hamad lost this place when he slowed down. I can only imagine it was a slowdown, but I don't know how you pick up a slowdown around this part of the track. And then since then he's been able to catch back up. Talking of catching back up, Irma was about 1.3 seconds behind at one point. He's got the gap down to 0.9, and as it gets closer and closer, that draft effect will increase. It might help him to break within that half second barrier or so. They've absolutely dropped Petty, these two, as Marco was saying earlier on, in a league of their own, as has been for the rest of the season. And it should be a very tight duel as we are about halfway through this 35 lap race tonight.
Speaking of the chat and the fans, there is always a fan from Poland who unfortunately isn't with us tonight, Mateusz, who's always, I am very thankful to him because he taught me how to pronounce the names of the Polish drivers, and poor guy, he always loses his mind when Austin tries to say Pieniążek. So either thankfully tonight he's not around, or either you killed him straight away when you tried to pronounce Pieniążek names. Oh, Amund, no, he's off.
No.
We were just looking at him.
Yeah, that's 2 more places gone. Yeah, apologies for that pronunciation. I've become quite a big fan of Iga Swiatek. Swiatek, I believe it's how you pronounce her name in the world of tennis. And she's of course from Poland as well, of course. So I am trying to get these Polish names right, but they are tricky. Hamad is a bit more easy, and down to 22nd place as Max Mueller is off the track. It's down to 17th. Now, where was Mueller just before that? He was running certainly in the top 15, as he's now going to stop. So he was in 13th place there, was Mueller, about half a minute off the race lead, and by himself as well. But the car number 28 has lost this one, maybe driving in a bit too deep. No, he's dipped a wheel into the grass.
And he backed into the wall because I saw his rear wing pretty much destroyed. I mean, also we have some fantastic Polish drivers in our other broadcast. I can, of course, Wojciech Swiridowicz, of course, one of them, who is at the forefront of touring car racing. Maciek Sakovic, also another fantastic driver. How can we forget?
We had a lot.
Legendary Euro V8 Jaroslav Sebula, also Euro V8 driver.
Well, we had an entire team of Polish drivers in the Prototype Championship on a Friday night, didn't we, in Season 1? I can't remember any of their names because I didn't commentate on it and I didn't have that much to do with the series. No, very good contingent over there in Poland, signing up to to all these series on Apex Racing TV. That was Vala and Justo Batse, and now we cut to Flint, who's on the back of McIntyre, who still is not allowing Bichetti to get away. I think Bichetti is a bit quicker. Flint has a weird acceleration area there, maybe going into 5th gear a little bit early. See this very underutilized little graphic with the gear changes and the speed and such. Losing quite a bit of time actually, Splint. Of course, that would be because McIntyre's got the draft of the go-ahead. There goes McIntyre up the inside. But this chicane is just amazing for racing. It really is an example of how you make a chicane in order to slow down the cars, make it wide enough so they can actually go too wide, believe it or not. It's a good idea. And that enables these drivers to do that for the next few corners here at this circuit located in Alabama, of course. As Bichetti was able to stay ahead, but he once again just cannot shake off McIntyre. He seems to have enough straight line speed every lap to close the gap, whatever it goes to.
I am shocked we didn't have any crash at turn 5 yet. I mean, the classic turn 5 crash, so the car goes a bit too wide, bumps on the curb with the underside, then goes on the gravel, loses control and destroys itself either on the left or on the right. We only had that big wreck on lap 1 there, but that was of course started way earlier than turn 5, so hopefully I don't jinx it.
By the way, someone just, by the way, just comment on that note, of course I do remember that broadcast when he said, oh, always something happens on that, and then we saw like 5 crashes in about 10 minutes. Man, that corner is super tricky, particularly in these single seaters where the ride height is so low. Just a question on the chat. Could we see some drivers outside the top 25? Unfortunately, not really any battles are going on outside the top 25. You can click on the live timing link as oh no, that is that's the car number 99 spinning around.
Cheeky, very cheeky.
I was going to go to his first name, but that would be even worse. Apologies. Meanwhile, Marseille, that gap is absolutely nothing. But yeah, the battle's not really anything going on outside the top 25, but we will make sure to cut to it if there is later on in the race, as I'm sure there will be. And by the way, you can check out the gaps between all the drivers by clicking on the SDK live timing link in the description below, and that'll open up a web page for you, and it'll show you all the intervals between the drivers, their best lap time, their last lap time, whether or not they're pitted, which of course so many drivers have, and that should keep you informed. And so what's going on all the way down the order as Herman's got this one. It's taken a while, of course. He was 1 point, I think it was 1.4 seconds, I think it was at one point. And it's taken him probably about 15 laps, I think, in order to close this one back up to pretty much nothing. And we should return to the type of racing we had in the very early stages.
I mean, usually we show battles all over the field in this series, and we believe in doing that in every series, not only here, as we have an attack on the outside by Hermer, good defending from Marteau. Problem is that tonight we have only 21 cars on the lead lap, so we're having plenty of battles in the, but you know, if our kind viewer goes back and watches the races from couple of races ago, we had 60 entrants, there were battles for P50 that we were showing, so, and you know, it's like we like to do it here at FX Racing TV. No!
Oh no! The top two colliding with one another. Now they should be able to continue on their way somehow, as long as they haven't got any steering damage, but Hermer takes the lead of the race, and Marteau stays ahead of Petty. Is some damage on the front wing of Marteau's car, I believe. And these guys have raced so well tonight. It's just been sparring all the way. They're having a lot of fun with this one. This may have been, well, it was certainly netcode. They may have made contact anyway. But good car control there from Marteau there, Marco, because I don't know about you, I would have accidentally steered that one into the barrier, but he was very heads up and managed to steer his car back onto circuit.
Yes, I mean, incredibly lucky to both survive. I'm looking at the car. So Hermer almost walls it. A couple of corners after. Unless he's waiting for Marteau or he has to pit.
Yeah, he's waiting.
Here comes.
Oh, he would.
Here comes, but you know, one thing that I love about the series is the camaraderie and the sportsmanship. So, good job by all involved. And hopefully the cars are okay. It was a side contact, so they should be okay. I'm not seeing any damage on either car. Let's look at the rear wings quickly. This is okay, and this is okay. So, quick check at the front wing. This is okay. And this is okay. Perfect. So, game on.
I thought I saw some front wing damage on Matzo, but I think my eyes were deceiving me. Because yeah, that looks fine, doesn't it? So he's back into the lead. Petty's with these drivers as well now.
You can see the front wing from the car number 76 of Nick Carty, just at the front of the lead pack. As we are by the way hitting the 10 to go mark. And it seems to be like the car is looking good. But
well, Hermer's now dropped off, hasn't he?
No, he's still there.
Oh, apologies. Yep. So my timing tower was saying that he dropped back. Yeah, the time tower was wrong.
Yeah, if you switch, you see it's now it says 2 seconds up, but you know it's iRacing being iRacing, unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still close, which is good news for us. It's a good battle currently going on between McIntyre. Well, I say currently going on. It's been going on for about 15 laps now. McIntyre versus Manchetti. Flint as well in 12th position. Those three fairly close. I'll say Tolsma, Teles, and Glamseta in 13th, 14th, and 15th. So just outside the top 10. It's all very tasty.
These three guys, I mean, have been together all race long, and no sign of letting up. I mean, it's going to be a battle to follow, like this one. McKendry keeps on dropping out with his connection, hopefully nothing serious. It's been a couple of times, as now Werner goes a 13.267, fastest lap of the race, so his car is definitely okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're sprinting away from Petty, as that's a little bit wide.
Mistake.
Sure, he get back on the circuit. He's still within draft range, so it should be alright with that one, but showing how tricky it is. These cars really dealing with the curves well. I realise that it's tricky for the drivers. They make it look very easy, but they're really able to go over pretty much all of them. And the suspension is soft enough that they're able to do so. With a good corner there, just going onto the back straight, gaining by about half a tenth, which brings him slightly more into the draft. I mean, the draft effect in this guy is prominent, but it's not huge. It's not like on the Radical SR8 level, for example. You still need to be within a few tenths of a second, maybe 3 tenths of a second, in order to stay with the driver ahead with the draft around a circuit like this. So it is impressive that these two have been so evenly matched. You know, this is like proper pace that they've got. There is pretty much just nothing to split them, rather than the slipstream necessarily bring them together. And yet they're able to change position almost every lap.
Sam,
much better there from Petty. Apologies from Herman.
No worries. A little bird told me that the other night he saw you racing in the Radicals, farming iRacing.
No. What? Yeah. What night? I haven't raced this week.
Maybe it was last week. Well, whatever. Someone said, "Oh, look at Sam Fitzpatrick farming in the Radical." So,
who said that? I want to know.
that Sam is betting 1,000, even higher than 1,000, because he won 2 titles in 1 season in his only season racing in BSR. So that's the mandatory. No, it was of course Alessandro. So I have to endure him all day long, every day, no? So even when we are not commentating, so Alessandro was with you yesterday, I think.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
So
on,
I mean,
on
apparently,
well.
not only Austin missing the race, but me also missing the race made for an explosive mix of excitement. First 3.5 race I've missed in a century, I think.
it was good.
Here comes Brachetti. On the outside, there's a beautiful pass on McIntyre, and now Andy Flint will fancy his chances as they go on to the start-finish straight for the 29th time, 29th starting right now. Here comes Andy Flint, the Canadian, on the inside. And you know, me, Alessandro, Austin, we like to say too much mustard. Well, there is a jar of mustard on the number 13 car. So, and also on the number 7 car, the Scuderia Metallica cars. Both have a jar of mustard. It's small, but if you look closely, you can see it.
Right, hey, I'm liking these liveries in this series. Hey, very good. Of course, just on that, of course, you've got the Austrian UK livery as well of McIntyre, so a very good looking Ransel around that part of the track. Now this part of the circuit, it is still, I'd say, half a second ahead, but really you cannot be confident. Oh no, now you can be confident about the race win because we've been waiting for it, and finally it's come, and it's come from a driver who you wouldn't expect to do it. It's a hard hit for Herbert, who is still driving. How did he not lose a wheel there? But he may have to stay back to the pits. He'll certainly need repairs. So you see a replay of how it happened, just driving into way too deep. Way too deep. I mean, he was all the way onto the gravel there, Marco. That was a huge misjudgment.
And he's in the pits, so he had to tow back midway through the lap. And so for QT Marteau, after a scare earlier and a very nice act of sportsmanship by Hermer himself, made it through, made it back to the lead, fought fairly, and is now looking to bring home another victory in this championship. Petty second, Meola third. Everything seems to be calm for the podium fight. We have some favorite driver, Przemysław Pieniążek, fighting with Mark Matisse for P16. There we go, making the pass. You're lucky, usually we have like 4 or 5 Polish drivers, including a set of brothers. And again, our Polish friend in the chat, who unfortunately isn't with us tonight.
Well,
unless you killed him straight away by reading the grid, which is also possible.
I really try my best.
I mean, you know, the counter argument is that he survived the 10 weeks of Austin butchering the names. So.
Well, yeah, Austin was messing it up in week 10. This is my first week. It's my first week. Give me some time. Sign me up for next season, and you can see how good my pronunciation. Jeez, I can't pronounce pronunciation. You can see how good my pronunciation is.
It's been a long week for everyone.
It has. I think sixth broadcast of the week. This. But still, very much fun because this race has been very good. Battles throughout the order. Still some top places to be decided. This is fairly near the top. Brachetti and McIntyre, of course, so close to one another. Flint has dropped off though, so he's dropped off the Europeans and will stay in 11th place to the end unless Tolsma can make up some significant time. Carty versus Hermer. Further down, Hermer, of course, fighting for the win earlier on. He's going to make this one easy as anything. Up into 21st. He is 1 lap down on the leaders. He won't even get the pleasure of doing all 35 laps tonight. But 34 is enough as we see a spin for Carty. does a nice
Ouch.
pirouette, damages the rear wing, and tows back to the pits. So Kart's almost doing Kart's wheel there, and returning to the pits area. McIntyre back past Brichetti, but that will continue to swap around all the way to the end with 3 laps to go now in this race. All these drivers, they are about half a lap behind the race leader. Brichetti immediately coming back. He's not even waiting for the back straight to make his move. He is passed in an instant and into 9. This is the closest battle that's going out in the circuit at the moment.
We're getting into the closing stages with Thiago Marteau is about to get not the white flag but the penultimate lap started as he's rounding up the final couple of corners. There is so with 2 laps to go in this penultimate round of the iGPFun series that has been going on for ages. I don't know if I told you this, Sam, but I raced in this championship.
Wow. Wow. Why?
Why? Well, I don't remember why, because it was 20 years ago. But I did race in the championship.
The quality of the series since then, Marco, just gone downhill. They haven't reached the peaks that you set it to all those years ago. Was that on Grand Prix Legends then?
Yes, and even then, thanks to one of the rudimentary mods of Grand Prix Legends, we were able to use the F2 cars. So it has always been about driving the junior formulae, yes. So and yeah. And when Luca contacted us to broadcast this championship, and I recognized his name now as the white flag drops, and I said, Luca Varani, you are the same Luca Varani as Grand Prix Legends days. And he answers saying like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that we remember the championship, meaning of course that I was, very old. Which, I mean, I'm not, but sim racing wise, I started so early that I'm now basically a gargoyle.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And yeah, it's cool that they're still playing series on. I mean, we were broadcasting Sim Racers Asia. That's been going for 10 years. Let's go for 20 years for this one.
Look at there.
Yeah, white flag. McIntyre was able to hold off Brichetti, thankfully due to the back marker just ahead. He managed to nip a slipstream, but Brichetti's back pass. Oh no, I think McIntyre's just gone off the circuit. Should still be able to get 10th position, however, as yeah, there he is, Marseille. However, still in the lead. Petty is under pressure from Miola right at the end of the race. This one will be marginal. Petty though just about managing to get ahead. As out in the lead, it is Kai Thiago Marteau who wins the penultimate round of the iGPFun series at Road Atlanta. Petty was able to hold off Miola. He was catching him by about 1/10 of a second kind of throughout the race there, but just had too much to gain after losing out in the early stages. McIntyre, I think, is going to come up here. Just ahead of Flint, who did drop back earlier and wasn't able to take advantage of the issue that McIntyre had on that previous lap, apologies, at the start of this lap. And so Brichetti will win that really good battle between these three. McIntyre rounds out the top 10 and Flint finishes 11th, just behind Teles, was just ahead of Glabseta, those two as well, sticking with each other for the most part. Teles, they did lose a place to Tolsma. No, he didn't lose a place to Tolsma. It was just a bad lap for both of them, actually, that last time round, and they were nearly caught by the other drivers. And Justo will be the last driver on the lead lap, at least, to cross the line in 19th position, staying ahead of Veloz and, of course, Herma, who led many laps, or at least several laps tonight, did Herma, but a crash through the S's ended any chance of a race win. As that's pretty much all the judges. Because I have absolutely enjoyed my my time here, Mark. That was a very nice Road Atlanta race. Plenty of accidents. I think some pretty entertaining accidents. You know, if you can possibly call that such a thing. But some brilliant race-long battles as well.
Absolutely, and been a very nice race, and basically iGPFun never disappoints. Lots of drama, lots of fun, as the series name implies. And as per usual, your results. So QT Marteau wins in style in front of Gavin Petty and Francesco Mella. Boy, that fight for second place came out of nowhere in the final lap. Philip Lucas in fourth, and Leonard Cherry, another consistent run by the, I would say, rookie of the season in fifth place. Or at least if he's not a rookie, because, you can race in and race out in the very season. Most improved driver of the year, no questions asked. Lucas Maruk in sixth and Dave Martin in seventh. It's Andrew McHenry in eighth, Andrea Brachetti in ninth, and Will McIntyre rounds up your top 10 in front of Andy Flint and Adam Tasma, the two Scuderia Metallica drivers. And then Antonio Teyes for Drivex, which is, of course, a real-life team in Euro Formula Open, so at Esports division. Christian Glamsetter, I mean, the first time that Austin isn't here, Christian, who's had terrible luck with the Austin livery this season, is able to finish in the top 15, so goes to show again, Austin, no Austins allowed in the commentary box. Przemysław Pieniążek, tough race for him. Massimo Dovrantis in 16th, and Mark Matisse and Phil Waller in 18th. And going a bit below that, in 19th, we have Daniel Justo, and then Angelo Veloce in 20th place. Samuel Ermer, what could have been for him, and the debutant, Hashem Hamoud, with his fan club, 22nd, in front of the other Canadian, Sonny Rosario. Ito-san, he was involved in a big smash, if you remember, at the beginning of the race, when he was sideswiped in the chicane, when he was minding his own business. He finishes 24th. Luciano Lorenzo in 25th, Patrick Rowlands in 26th, Ilari Arnio and Richard Van Veen in 28th. And then scrolling down a bit more, we have Reed Dennis and Nick Carty, Max Muller, Martin Devine, Rod Maguire, Vincenzo Moroni, Luciano Zanier, who had very good first half of the race, and then they were both involved in some crashes. Zoltan Zomotor, Fernando Correas, and Johan Birgersson rounds up your 38th car field for tonight. So it's the end of another exciting week on Apex Racing TV, and basically we are starting the final week of the official iRacing season, but still plenty of excitement coming up next on these frequencies. So once again, I kindly invite you to subscribe to the channel, and of course don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Apex Racing TV. So what's coming up next? Well, a lot of stuff, because it might be the final week of the iRacing official season, but a series is starting. Fresh series with the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup, a series that will also have yours truly racing as soon as my Monday night commentary duties are up in a couple of weeks with Italian NASCAR. That's going to be tomorrow, 31st of May at 19 GMT. On Tuesday, we are going to have at the same time, 19 GMT, the Apex Racing League GT Trophy from this very place of Atlanta. Some GT3 action from there. And then later that day, in the North American evening, at 1 AM GMT of the 2nd of June, national holiday in Italy, by the way, we're going to have the Ray Esports Racing League Round 7 from Lime Rock Park. The Porsches are back on Wednesday, 19 GMT, at the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup from Montreal, again, 2nd of June, again, national holiday, again, I will be on duty. So, who says that Italians are lazy? I'm even working on national holidays. And then on Thursday, Apex Racing League Touring Car Championships, and we are getting closer to the end of the season. This is the penultimate round of the season.
Final round?
No, the final round, sorry. I cannot count, of course. Le Mans was last week. Sorry. Again, long week for everyone. 19 GMT. And then on Friday, round 7 of the Wave Italy RL Prototype Championship, also at 19 GMT. This time we will go north to Road America. Final 3 rounds of the season: Road America, Daytona, Watkins Glen. Possibly not in this order, but 3 fantastic racetracks. Daytona is a night race, and the Glen will be a time accelerated race for 4X in together, because it's basically, I think, around the official 6 hours of the Glen. So great stuff. We just survived Motegi night, Sam, so it's all downhill from here. After that race is over, a couple of hours later at 21 GMT, last race of the Radical Racing Challenge season at the Nordschleife. What a fantastic way to end the season. And then on Saturday, of course, the Apex Racing Academy F3 VRS Super Series from Monza, 19 GMT. The Formula 3.5 Championship at 9:45 GMT, also on Saturday, 21:45 GMT, from Phillip Island to decide the championship. And last but not least, we will be back for this very iGPFun Championship, always at 8:25 GMT in the evening, and also of course from Monza, so I have to travel very little to do the final round of this championship, and also of course the final round of the Spec Racer 4 Championship, but it's not in the schedule right now, so I have no idea where they race, but they follow the official series as well, and it's going to be more or less at the same time as this. So a week full of excitement. Some seasons are ending, some seasons are starting, and there will be a lot of silverware to be ended. And of course, it's all getting towards my participation in the MX5 Monday Cup in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the highlight of my summer. Watching you, Marco, out there. Looking forward to see that one. Of course, your MX5 record on Apex Racing TV streams absolutely faultless. So that's
last time I raced an MX5 on Apex Racing TV, I wiped out half the field in Phoenix.
Yeah, we're not visiting Phoenix though. It was tempting to go back to Phoenix, but we've avoided it for this season. But still, some real classic circuits. Watkins Glen Boot. Apologies, Watkins Glen Cup is the first round of the championship tomorrow. That'll be myself bringing you through all that action, along with Angie Thompson as well, and Sam Kumo. Of course, as Marco was saying, do check out, do subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and of course check out our Twitch channel as well, where you can get an alternative stream if that's the place that you prefer to watch your broadcast from. Feel free to go follow us on that platform. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, and from Marco Barbonet, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you back for the final round of the championship at Monza next week. See you then.